This is the Sunday, February 12th, Central Florida Computer Society meeting. And next up is our president, Stan Wallner, who will introduce our speaker. Stan, you have the floor.
Thank you. Appreciate you all attending, and have a cool, windy day here in the Orlando area, but we'll get through it. And I'm glad nobody's mentioning any information whatsoever on the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear the score until I'm putting it on a VCR. But Bob, thank you very much for being here. Looking forward to your security presentation, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let me start by sharing my screen. You're ready? I guess I'm about as ready as I'm ever going to be. Start things off, let me let you know that I'm a cybersecurity expert. And if you don't believe me, just look at my cup. So what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity ensures the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information and systems. This means protecting against unauthorized access or modification of data, ensuring that systems are available for use when needed, and maintaining the privacy of information. Sit back and let me provide you with the information needed so you can use best practices to stay secure. The next 24 slides and videos will give you all the information you need to become a cybersecurity guru. I know A to Z should be 26 slides. There's nothing interesting or important for the letters X and Y. And by the time we finish this journey, that's probably a good thing. I used ChatGPT in creating this presentation and edited its import to eliminate some errors and repetitiveness. Some repeats, however, are there to drive home the information. Let's start off with A. Always update your software and operating system to the latest version, and there are several reasons why this needs to be done ASAP. A. Always update your software and operating system to the latest version. It is important to always update your software and operating system to the latest version for a few key reasons. Security. Software updates often include security patches that fix vulnerabilities in the software. If you don't update your software, you may be at risk of being exploited by hackers or malware. Improved functionality. Software updates often include new features and improvements that can enhance the performance and functionality of your device. Bug fixes. Software updates often include fixes for bugs and issues that can cause problems or negatively impact the performance of your device. By keeping your software and operating system up to date, you can ensure that your device is running at its best and is protected from potential vulnerabilities. It is generally a good idea to set your device to automatically install updates when they are available, so that you don't have to remember to do it manually. Be aware of phishing attacks and verify the authenticity of emails before clicking on any links or downloading attachments. Phishing attacks are a common type of cybercrime in which attackers use fake emails or websites to trick people into revealing sensitive information, such as passwords or financial information. These attacks can be difficult to detect, as the attackers often use tactics to make their emails and websites look legitimate. B. Be aware of phishing attacks. To protect yourself from phishing attacks, it is important to be aware of their existence and to be vigilant when interacting with emails or websites. Here are a few tips to help you verify the authenticity of emails and avoid phishing attacks. Be suspicious of emails that ask for sensitive information or that contain urgent or threatening language. Check the sender's email address. Is it coming from a familiar domain, or does it look suspicious? Look for typos or other anomalies in the email. Sometimes attackers will use slight variations of a legitimate email address or website to fool you. Do not click on links or download attachments from unfamiliar sources. If you are unsure whether an email is legitimate, you can try hovering over the link to see the destination's URL, or you can contact the sender to verify the authenticity of the email. By following these guidelines, you can help protect yourself from phishing attacks and other online threats. C. Use complex and unique passwords for all accounts. Consider using a password manager to keep track of them. C. Use complex and unique passwords. Using complex and unique passwords is an important step in protecting your online accounts and personal information. Using the same password for multiple accounts or using easy-to-guess passwords makes it easier for attackers to gain access to your accounts. If you have a lot of accounts, it can be difficult to remember all your unique passwords. A password manager can be a helpful tool. A password manager is a program that stores your passwords in a secure way and allows you to access them with a single master password. This way, you only have to remember one password instead of trying to remember all of your different passwords. In addition to using strong and unique passwords, it is also important to regularly update your passwords and enable two-factor authentication on your accounts whenever possible. Two-factor authentication adds an extra layer of security by requiring you to enter a code that is sent to your phone or email in addition to your password when logging into an account. D. Data breach. A data breach is an incident in which sensitive or confidential information is accessed or disclosed without authorization. D. Data breach. Data breaches can have serious consequences, including financial loss, damage to reputation, and legal liability. They can also lead to identity theft and other forms of cybercrime. It is important for organizations to have a robust security measure in place to protect against data breaches and to have a plan in place for responding to a breach if one occurs. Individuals can also take steps to protect themselves from data breaches by using strong and unique passwords, enabling two-factor authentication on their accounts, and being cautious about sharing personal information online. It is also a good idea to regularly monitor your accounts and credit report for any suspicious activity. Enable a firewall on your computer and router to help protect against external threats. E. Enable a firewall. A firewall is a security system that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. Firewalls can be implemented in hardware, software, or a combination of both. Enabling a firewall on your computer and router can help protect against external threats such as hacking, malware, and other cyber attacks. A firewall can block unauthorized access to your network and prevent malicious traffic from entering your system. Fifth, fraud. Cyber fraud refers to the use of internet to commit financial crimes, such as stealing money or personal information. F. Cyber fraud. Cyber fraud can have serious consequences for both individuals and organizations. It can result in financial loss, damage to reputation, and legal liability. To protect against cyber fraud, it is important to be vigilant when interacting with emails, websites, and online accounts. This includes using strong and unique passwords, enabling two-factor authentication whenever possible, and being cautious about sharing personal information online. It is also a good idea to regularly monitor your accounts and credit reports for any suspicious activity and to report any incidents of cyber fraud to the appropriate authorities. By taking these precautions, you can help protect yourself and your organization from cyber fraud and other online threats. G. Grayware. Grayware refers to software that is not malicious in nature, but that may still pose a risk to an organization's security. Examples of grayware include adware, spyware, and PUPs, potentially unwanted programs. G. Grayware. Adware is software that displays advertisements on a computer or device. While it is not typically malicious in nature, it can be annoying and may slow down the performance of the device. Spyware is software that's designed to collect information about a user without their knowledge or consent. It can track a user's online activity and collect sensitive data such as passwords and financial information. PUPs stands for potentially unwanted programs, are programs that may be installed along with other software, often without the user's knowledge. They can include toolbars, browser extensions, and other types of software that may not be malicious in themselves, but that may be unwanted or unnecessary. Grayware can pose a risk to an organization's security because it may consume resources, slow down performance, or expose sensitive data. It is important for organizations to have policies and procedures in place to prevent the installation of grayware and to regularly scan for and remove any existing grayware. H. HTTPS is a secure version of the HTTP protocol that is used to transmit data over the internet. It also encrypts the data to protect it against tampering. HTTPS, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. There are several reasons why it is important to use HTTPS. Security, as mentioned, HTTPS provides an extra layer of security by encrypting the data being transmitted. This makes it more difficult for attackers to intercept and tamper with the data. Privacy. HTTPS helps to protect the privacy of users by preventing third parties from being able to see the data being transmitted. This can be particularly important for sensitive information, such as financial or personal data. Trust. Using HTTPS can help to build trust with users, as it demonstrates that a website is taking steps to secure the data being transmitted. Compatibility. Many modern web browsers and devices will not work with websites that do not use HTTPS. So using HTTPS can help ensure compatibility with these systems. Overall, using HTTPS is an important step in preventing the security and privacy of users and ensuring the integrity of the data being transmitted over the internet. I. Identity theft is the unauthorized use of someone's personal information, such as their name, address, or financial information, for the purpose of committing fraud or other crimes. Identity theft can have serious consequences, including financial loss and damage to reputation. I. Identity theft. Here are a few steps you can take to protect yourself from identity theft. Use a strong and unique password for all your accounts and avoid using the same password for multiple accounts. Consider using a password manager to help you keep track of your passwords. Enable two-factor authentication whenever possible on your accounts. This adds an extra layer of security by requiring you to enter a code that is sent to your phone or email in addition to your password when logging into an account. Be careful about sharing personal information online, especially on social media or unfamiliar websites. Avoid posting sensitive information such as your full name, address, or financial information online. Regularly check your accounts and credit reports for any suspicious activity. This can help you catch identity theft early on and minimize the damage. When accessing sensitive information online, make sure you are using a secure network. Avoid accessing sensitive information on public Wi-Fi networks, as these are often unencrypted and can be easily accessed by hackers. This would be a great time to use your VPN. By following these guidelines, you can help protect yourself from identity theft and other forms of cybercrime. J. JavaScript, which is a programming language that is often used to create interactive features on websites. JavaScript can be used to create features such as form validation, image sliders, and pop-up windows. J. JavaScript. There are a few reasons why you may want to avoid JavaScript. Security. JavaScript can be used to create vulnerabilities that can be exploited by attackers. Disabling JavaScript can help reduce the risk of these types of attacks. Performance. JavaScript can sometimes slow down the performance of a website, especially on older or less powerful devices. Disabling JavaScript can help improve the performance of a website. Privacy. JavaScript can be used to track a user's online activity and collect data about their browsing habits. Disabling JavaScript can help protect your privacy by preventing websites from collecting this information. That being said, JavaScript is an important and widely used technology, and in many cases, it is necessary for the proper functioning of a website. If you do decide to disable JavaScript, you may find that some websites do not work as expected, or that certain features are not available. A keylogger is a type of software or hardware that's designed to record keystrokes. Keyloggers can be used for legitimate purposes and malicious purposes. A keylogger. A keylogger can be used for malicious purposes, such as stealing passwords or personal information. To avoid keyloggers, you can take the following precaution. Use antivirus software. Antivirus software can help detect and remove keyloggers and other types of malware. Be sure to keep your antivirus software up to date and run regular scans to check for any malware infections. Use a firewall. It can help prevent keyloggers and other types of malware from entering your system. Be sure to enable your firewall and keep it up to date. Avoid downloading suspicious software, especially from unfamiliar sources. Only download software from reputable websites and be sure to scan it for malware before installing it. Use a virtual keyboard. A virtual keyboard is a software tool that allows you to type on your screen rather than using a physical keyboard. This can help prevent keyloggers that are installed on your physical keyboard from capturing your keystrokes. Use a password manager to help protect against keyloggers by generating strong, unique passwords. To help protect against keyloggers by generating strong, unique passwords for your accounts and storing them in a secure location. This means that even if a keylogger can capture your password, it will be useless to the hacker because they won't have access to the password manager. By following these precautions, you can help protect yourself from keyloggers and other types of malware. Time for a break. Do a stretch. Rub those eyes. If you have any questions, now's a good time. If not, we'll continue with the next.
I have a question.
Okay.
My question is, as far as your website goes, I love it. Everything's great. but I was getting some other meetup invitations, and one I wasn't very happy about, so I put it in this junk mail. What I want to know is, if I did that, is that going to affect me getting emails from you? Because it looks like the meetup is the meetup, the same type of program. So I was a little scared I won't be getting your emails because I junk mailed their email.
I don't know what,
She's probably referring to the CFCS TechSig emails that announced this meeting, and the one from Huey that sends out the application for the link.
Yeah, the meetup,
yeah, well, there's nothing that, and I don't send any emails directly to those that are part of the meeting. I'll be sending my information to Huey, and he will be passing that along to everybody else that's attending.
Colleen, if you in the chat, bring up the chat, and it says to, and in the drop down, choose Stan Wallner, SM Wallner, and then send him your email address, and he'll add you to our announcement, so you get ours separate from Meetup.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back. L,
Could I just, before you start again, Bob, could I just ask one thing? With the JavaScript, is it possible to set up your system to get a notification that JavaScript is being used?
I don't know. That would depend on the browser you're talking about. So I don't know. That depends on settings within the browser. As far as I know, you can either turn it on or off. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
that's
can
what
get
I wondered.
notification.
Okay.
Okay.
Bob, you had another question.
Can we save it to the end? Or we have another break in between anyway. Let's do it then. L, Locky ransomware is a type of malware that encrypts a victim's files and demands a ransom be paid in order to decrypt them. It is named after the Locky file extension that it adds to the encrypted files. L, Locky ransomware. To avoid ransomware, you can take the following precautions. Keep your software and operating system up to date. Regularly installing updates for your software and operating system can help protect against vulnerabilities that can be exploited by ransomware. Use antivirus software. This can help detect and remove ransomware and other types of malware. Be sure to keep your antivirus software up to date and run regular scans to check for any malware infections. Enable a firewall. It can help prevent ransomware and other types of malware from entering your system. Be sure to enable your firewall and keep it up to date. Avoid clicking on links or downloading attachments from unknown sources. Ransomware is often spread through phishing emails or malicious websites. Be cautious when clicking on links or downloading attachments, especially from unfamiliar sources. Use a backup system. Regularly backing up your important files can help protect against ransomware. If your files are encrypted by ransomware, you can restore them from the backup rather than paying the ransom. By following these precautions, you can help protect yourself from ransomware and other forms of malware. M. Malware is short for malicious software, and it refers to any software that is designed to harm or exploit a computer or network. Malware can include viruses, worms, trojans, and other types of harmful software. M. Malware. Here are a few of the most common types of malware. Virus. It's a type of malware that is designed to replicate itself and spread from one computer to another. Viruses can cause a variety of problems, including damaging or deleting files, corrupting data, and slowing down a system. Worm is a type of malware that is designed to spread itself from one computer to another, often without the user's knowledge. Worms can exploit vulnerabilities in software or operating systems to replicate and spread themselves. Trojans is a type of malware that is disguised as legitimate software and is designed to gain unauthorized access to a system. Trojans are often used to steal sensitive information such as login credentials or financial data. Ransomware is a type of malware that encrypts a victim's files and demands a ransom be paid in order to decrypt them. Ransomware can be particularly damaging because it can hold a victim's files hostage until the ransom is paid, and there is no guarantee that the attacker will actually decrypt the files after receiving payment. Adware is a type of malware that is designed to display advertising on a victim's computer. Adware can be annoying and can slow down a system, but it is generally not as harmful as other types of malware. By being aware of these common types of malware and taking precautions to protect against them, you can help keep your system safe from harm. Network security refers to the measures taken to protect a computer's network and the devices connected to it from unauthorized access or attacks. Network security can include measures such as firewalls, antivirus software, and intrusion detection systems. Network security. Setting up network security involves implementing a variety of measures to protect a computer network and the devices connected to it from unauthorized access or attacks. Here are a few steps you can take to set up network security. Determine your security needs. The first step in setting up network security is to assess your security needs and determine what types of threats you are most likely to face. This will help you determine which security measures are most appropriate for your network. Implement security measures. There are many different types of security measures that you can implement to protect your network. Some common measures include firewalls, antivirus software, intrusion detection systems, and network access control systems. Monitor and update your security regularly, and update your security measures to ensure that they are effective and up to date. This may involve installing updates for your security software, revising security policies, and responding to security breaches or threats. By following these steps and implementing appropriate security measures, you can help protect your network and the devices connected to it from unauthorized access or attack. Online privacy, which refers to protection of personal information and activities while using the internet. Always use caution when sharing private data and financial information. Online privacy. Here are a few steps you can take to protect your online privacy. Use strong and unique passwords for all your online accounts and avoid using the same password for multiple accounts. You can use a password manager to help generate and store strong, unique passwords. Enabling two-factor authentication gives you an additional layer of security that requires you to provide a second form of authentication, such as a security token or a one-time password, in addition to your password. Enabling 2FA can help protect against unauthorized access to your accounts. Use a virtual private network. It encrypts your internet connection and hides your IP address. Using a VPN can help protect your online privacy by making it more difficult for third parties to track your online activity. Be cautious with sharing personal information online and consider the potential risk of sharing it. Avoid providing personal information to unknown or untrusted sources, and be aware of phishing attacks that may attempt to trick you into revealing sensitive information. Use privacy-focused browsers and search engines that block tracking cookies or anonymize your search queries. Using these types of tools can help protect your online privacy. By following these steps and being mindful of your online activity, you can help protect your online privacy and keep your personal information safe. A password is a secret string of characters that is used to verify the identity of a user. For us seniors, there's another method other than passwords to protect things we share with the younger generation. More on that after the next video. A password. Here are a few best practices for protecting your password, both online and off. Use strong and unique passwords. Don't share your password. Avoid sharing your password with anyone, even trusted friends or family members. If someone else knows your password, they could potentially access your accounts or cause harm to your systems. Avoid using personal information in your passwords, such as your name, address, or birth date in your passwords. This information is often easily accessible to hackers and can make it easier for them to guess your password. Use a strong password manager, which is a tool that helps you generate, store, and manage strong, unique passwords. A password manager can help you create and use complex passwords without having to remember them, and it can help protect your passwords from being stolen or exposed. Protect your passwords offline. In addition to protecting your passwords online, it is also important to protect it offline. This can include taking precautions such as not writing your passwords down or storing it in a visible location, and being cautious about who you share your passwords with. By following these best practices, you can help protect your password and keep your accounts and systems safe from unauthorized access. If we all switched to cursive and stick shift cars, we could cripple an entire generation. Quarantine is a security measure that involves isolating a device or file that is suspected of being infected with malware or otherwise poses a threat to a system. Quarantine. There are a few different ways you can implement quarantine on a system. Move the suspect file to a separate location. One way to quarantine a file is to move it to a separate location on the system, such as a designated quarantine folder. This can help prevent the file from being accessed or executed, and it can also make it easier to analyze or remove the file later. Disconnect the device from the network. If a device, such as a computer or smartphone, is suspected of being infected with malware or otherwise poses a threat to the system, you can quarantine it by disconnecting it from the network. This can help prevent the device from spreading malware or accessing sensitive information. Use security software. Some security software, such as antivirus programs or mobile device management systems, may have built-in quarantine capabilities. These systems can be configured to automatically move suspect files to a quarantine folder or to disconnect infected devices from the network. By implementing quarantine measures, you can help prevent the spread of malware and protect against further damage to your system. It is important to regularly check and maintain your quarantine folder and to remove any suspect files or devices from quarantine once they have been cleaned or neutralized. Recovery refers to the process of restoring a system or data after a failure or data loss event. Recovery can involve a variety of activities, such as restoring from backups, repairing damaged systems or data, and implementing contingency plans. Recovery. There are a few key steps you can take to assure recovery is possible on a system. Create regular backups on your system, and data is one of the most important steps you can take to assure recovery is possible. Backups can be used to restore your system and data after a failure or data loss event. Test your backups, which is extremely important in ensuring that they are functioning properly and that you can successfully restore from them. Testing your backups can help you identify any issues or problems with your backup process and address them before a recovery is necessary. Store backups securely. To protect your backups from physical damage and unauthorized access by storing them in a secure location, such as fireproof safe or off-site storage facility. Implement a disaster recovery plan, which is a set of procedures and guidelines for responding to and recovering from a catastrophic event, such as a natural disaster or cyber attack. A well-crafted disaster recovery plan can help ensure that you are able to recover your system and data after a disaster and minimize downtime. By following these steps and regularly creating and testing backups, you can help assure that recovery is possible on your system in the event of a failure or data loss event. S. Social engineering manipulates people info during actions or divulging confidential information, usually by preying on their trust or emotions. S. Social engineering. Whoops. S. Social engineering. Social engineering is the practice of manipulating people into performing actions or divulging confidential information, often by preying on their trust or emotions. Here are some common forms of social engineering. Phishing is a type of social engineering attack that involves sending fake emails or text messages that appear to come from a legitimate source, such as a bank or government agency. These messages often contain malicious links or attachments that, when clicked on, can compromise your security. Baiting is a type of social engineering attack that involves offering something attractive, such as a gift or service, in exchange for sensitive information or access to a system. Scareware is a type of social engineering attack that involves tricking users into believing that their computer is infected with a virus or other malware. The attacker may then offer to sell the victim a fake antivirus solution to fix the problem. Impersonation is a type of social engineering attack in which the attacker poses as a legitimate authority figure or trusted individual in order to gain access to sensitive information or systems. Pretexting is a type of social engineering attack in which the attacker creates a fake identity or scenario in order to obtain sensitive information from the victim. Quid pro quo is a type of social engineering attack in which the attacker offers something in exchange for sensitive information or access to a system. This could be something as simple as offering assistance in exchange for a password. It is important to be aware of these tactics and to be cautious when sharing sensitive information or access to systems, especially when it is not clear who is requesting it. E. Two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication is an additional layer of security that requires a user to provide two different authentication methods in order to access a system or sensitive information. T. Two-factor authentication. Here are some reasons why setting up 2FA is important. It adds an extra layer of protection. With 2FA, even if an attacker guesses your password, they still need another form of authentication in order to access your account or system. This makes it much more difficult for them to gain access and reduces the risk of your account being compromised. It protects against phishing attacks. Phishing attacks are common tactics used by attackers to trick users into revealing their login credentials. With 2FA in place, even if an attacker can obtain your login credentials, they still need another form of authentication in order to access your account. It helps prevent unauthorized access. 2FA can help prevent unauthorized access to your accounts and systems by requiring an additional form of authentication beyond just a username and password. This can help protect against unauthorized access from within your organization as well as from external attackers. Overall, setting up 2FA is an important security measure that can help protect your accounts and systems from being compromised by attackers. It is a simple and effective way to add an extra layer of protection to your online accounts and systems. U. User privacy refers to the protection of an individual's personal information and data from unauthorized access or misuse. User privacy. Here are some best practices for setting up user privacy. Use strong and unique passwords for all your online accounts. Avoid using the same password for multiple accounts and consider using a password manager to help generate and store strong passwords. Enable two-factor authentication on all your online accounts that offer it. This will require an additional form of authentication beyond just your password, making it more difficult for attackers to gain access to your accounts. Be cautious when sharing personal information online, especially with unfamiliar websites or individuals. Think carefully about what information you are sharing and who you are sharing it with. Use a virtual private network when connecting to the internet to help protect your online activity and personal information from being monitored or tracked. Keep your software and devices up to date with the latest security patches and updates. These updates often include fixes for vulnerabilities that could be exploited by attackers. Use privacy settings on your social media and other online accounts to control who can see your personal information and activity. By following these best practices, you can help protect your personal information and data from unauthorized access or misuse. It is important to be proactive in safeguarding your user privacy in today's digital world. A virtual private network is a security solution that creates a secure encrypted connection between a device and a network. It is often used to protect data transmitted over a public network from being intercepted by third parties. A virtual private network. A virtual private network is a security solution that creates a secure encrypted connection between a device and a network. Here are some of the most important reasons for using a VPN. VPNs can help protect your online privacy by encrypting your internet activity and hiding your IP address. This can prevent your online activity from being monitored or tracked by third parties such as your internet service provider or the government. VPNs can enhance online security by encrypting your internet connection and protecting it from cyber threats such as hackers and malware. VPNs can help you bypass internet censorship and access blocked or restricted websites and content. This can be particularly useful when traveling or living in a country with strict internet censorship laws. VPNs can allow you to access content that may be restricted based on your location, such as a streaming service or websites. VPNs can help protect your data from being intercepted or accessed by unauthorized parties when using public Wi-Fi or other untrusted networks. VPNs can provide several important benefits for online privacy and security. They are a useful tool for anyone who is concerned about protecting their online activity and data from being monitored or accessed by third parties. I personally use Avast's Secure Line. Find out more about it by following the link listed. Now, do we have any more questions waiting?
There's
Yes.
I was going to say in the chat, there's a question from Christopher Nance. He says, I found 3 Win32/Lodi threats on my Windows 10 computer. Should I delete these?
Question is, what put them there to start off with? Without doing further investigation, I'd say no. Once you find out exactly what's using it, then that might change.
Another question in the chat from Richard Bowden is, what is a good VPN?
A good VPN is any VPN that keeps you private and secure and stores absolutely no information.
Is it necessarily a free one or a paid one, or are there features?
Usually your free one is the least desirable one. you're not going to go through all the work and not charge for it. So some of the good features are only available in a paid version. But the most important thing to watch out for is, what do they collect? If they collect nothing, there's also nothing that they can be forced to pass along.
And Mike Sorn has his hand up.
Mike, what's the question?
Unmute yourself, unmute yourself, Mike.
Look, it takes me a minute. Somehow it isn't responsive to the unmute mouse request. When you get a message or something to do an update, how do you know for sure that that update came from Microsoft or the vendor? Or when you get I notice you're using Avast, and some of those security software things are offshore. How do you know that they're not preloading things in you that are timed to give you problems?
Mike, if you're using an app and it wants an update, you update. If you're not using an app or you're on the internet and all of a sudden you get a pop-up, you avoid it. That's about as quick as I can give you an answer.
If you have an extension on your browser in another area, could it reach in and change your system with Java to take an update from somebody else when you do Windows Update?
You're asking for me to go fishing for something that really there's no way to answer that question. You need to trust. You need to trust the app you install. If you don't trust it to start off with, don't allow it to get onto your system.
If you get it from Windows Store, do you trust it? From Microsoft Store?
Do I blanketly trust it? No, but I trust it more than getting it from someplace that I don't know at all.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's go back to work. W, Wi-Fi protected access is a security protocol that is used to secure wireless networks. It provides stronger security than its predecessor, WEP. W, Wi-Fi protected access. Wi-Fi protected access, WPA, is a security protocol that is used to secure wireless networks. It provides stronger security than its predecessor, WEP, Wired Equivalent Privacy, by using encryption and other security measures to protect against unauthorized access. The strongest version of WPA is WPA2, Wi-Fi Protected Access. WPA3 is an updated version of WPA which was introduced back in 2004 and is currently the most widely used security protocol for wireless networks. WPA2 uses advanced encryption techniques to provide strong security for wireless networks. It uses a combination of Temporal Key Integrity Protocol, TKIP, and Advanced Encryption Standard, AES, to encrypt wireless data transmitted between a device and a wireless access point. It is important to use WPA2 or the newer WPA3 if available for your wireless network because it provides stronger security than earlier versions of WPA and other security protocols. To help protect against unauthorized access and cyber attacks, such as man-in-the-middle attacks and wireless eavesdropping. Overall, it is recommended to use WPA2 or WPA3 for your wireless network to ensure the strongest security possible. There aren't really any terms worth mentioning that start with the letters X and Y. So the final term is Z, zero-day attack. Z, zero-day attack. A zero-day attack is an attack that exploits a previously unknown vulnerability. a zero-day vulnerability in a system or software. These attacks can be particularly effective because there is no defense against them until the vulnerability is discovered and patched. Here are some steps you can take to protect against zero-day attacks. Regularly apply software updates and patches, as they often include fixes for vulnerabilities that could be exploited by attackers. Use a firewall, which can help protect against zero-day attacks by blocking incoming traffic from unknown or untrusted sources. Use antivirus. It can help detect and prevent zero-day attacks by identifying and blocking known malware and other threats. I have used Avast since 2003. More information is available at the link listed. Use two-factor authentication, which adds an extra layer of security by requiring an additional form of authentication beyond just a password. This can help prevent zero-day attacks from being successful, even if an attacker is able to obtain a user's login credentials. Implement network segmentation, which divides a network into separate, isolated segments or zones. It can help prevent the spread of zero-day attacks by limiting access to specific areas of the network and controlling the flow of traffic between them. Overall, it's important to be proactive in protecting against zero-day attacks by implementing multiple layers of security and keeping your software and systems up to date. Here are some of the programs and apps that I can recommend to strengthen your cybersecurity. There are some programs and apps that I can recommend to strengthen it that are not necessarily security tools. One of them is CCleaner. Help to keep your system clean and fast and get access to many useful tools. Patch My PC Home Updater. Keep over 300 programs updated and much more. And it's just as important to update your programs as it is your operating system. Bitwarden Password Manager. For individuals and families, it's an open source and it can be used for free. And that's enough for the work. Let's have a bit of fun. Here's a way to never ever change your clocks again. And he had the nerve to tell me to close the laptop lid. Eat salad, they said. It's healthy, they said. You know what never gets recalled? Cake. Some human engineering at its finest. If a man says he will fix it, he will. There's no need to remind him every 6 months. Teacher, I have a green ball in one hand, a green ball in another, so what do I have? Student, Kermit the Frog begging for mercy. A new teacher was trying to make use of her psychology courses. She started her class by saying, "Everyone who thinks they're stupid, stand up." After a few seconds, little Larry stood up, and the teacher said, "Do you think you're stupid, Larry?" "No, ma'am, but I hate to see you standing there all by yourself." I started doing my presentations back in 2010. They're actually an extension of the Avast Customer Support Forum. I became involved with them back in 2004. And no, it's not a paid job. Some of us just happen to enjoy helping others. I don't work for Avast, but I have a nice arrangement with Avast. They pay all of my expenses. from the second I leave home until I return. Unfortunately, since 2020, I haven't gone anywhere. Everything has been done remotely. I'm kind of itching to get out of the house, and maybe my wife is waiting for that to happen too. My presentations are always designed for the average computer user, not the geek. And if you know of any clubs or technology users that would benefit from a presentation, just have them contact me. I also do lots of other things besides just security presentations. And if you'd like to dig into those, just follow that link listed at the bottom. And that's enough of this big sales pitch. The link listed at the bottom will give you access to all the things we talked about today. I also follow this with an email that I'll be sending to Huey with all of the information, so that if you missed any part of it, you'll be able to go back and review it at your own pace. I'm now going to get out of the presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any additional questions that you may have.
Thanks, Bob. If anyone has questions, if you'd raise your hand, please, in the reactions. Tom
I
Hirsch.
believe I raised mine, Mike.
Oh, okay, didn't see it, Stan.
My question is a little long-winded, but I've someplace picked up that putting a phone number into an email might be available to hackers. And so I've seen where people would put in like 407 TWOSIXSIX. Is that worth doing? Or is it, I've tried to fact check it. Snopes doesn't have any answer. Fact check is not even in existence now. I guess that's primarily political. Have you heard anything at all about this, Bob? Or is it just a waste of time?
To me, it's a waste of time. Hackers aren't stupid. If they were stupid, they'd never make any money. So if you try to disguise the last 4 digits in some other way other than actually posting them, they'll figure that part out just as readily as if you posted the entire phone number.
I guess it was the thought that the robot might not see that number because it's looking for 7 digits or whatever, not words.
Yeah, it might help for robots, but it won't have help for anything else.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Tom, unmute yourself.
Hi, Bob, or Norb, I'm sorry. Thanks for another great presentation. Could you speak to how secure these password managers are? Because I'm sure you're well aware that LastPass was hacked a few months ago.
One of the reasons I'm no longer using LastPass, and you didn't hear me talk about LastPass. But even though your password is probably not with a hacker, even if you used LastPass, at least I'm hoping so, because I was a LastPass user. I've since changed. Now, how secure?
Having any?
All password managers, all security companies are constantly under attack. So it's up to them to make sure that they keep their guard up to the max at all times. And with LastPass, somebody found a weak spot and they exploited it. Most places now in companies, the weak spot is the employee. Once they get past the employee, they'll wind up having access to the company's information.
Have you heard of any of the LastPass users who have had serious effects from their information being compromised?
No, I have not. And their information hasn't been compromised. There's been some information that was harvested, and there are some encrypted information that the hackers got. Whether they'll ever use it, whether they'll ever unencrypt it, and what's exactly in it, I don't know. I have no clue. But I haven't heard of any real problems of anyone who's used LastPass.
Thank you.
Would you not think that changing your passwords, whether you use a password manager or not, on a regular basis, like once a year minimum, is a good step of prevention?
If they haven't hacked it, why would you change it?
Just to go through and make sure that there's no,
No.
because even in the sites you go to, I'm a member of the retired military, and the Office of Personnel Management was hacked by China. And if I would have thought one of the most secure systems that nobody could break into would be OPM. They got everything: names, addresses, social security numbers, birth dates,
Yep.
security information, everything. So I just changed my passwords, whether or not I'm concerned about the password manager.
Well, if your information's been harvested, then of course you need to change all that information. Whether it's like you, a government agency, or there have been some other places that have gotten where they've gotten all that information. And if your information is there and it was harvested, then by all means, first thing to do is change all of that information. But where they have not really gotten any information, or where there's been no attacks of any kind, if your password is safe, what makes the next one you make up any safer than the one that's already safe? It's a whole lot of work to do all those things too. Right. And if there's no breach, then I personally don't see the need.
Yeah, T-Mobile is the latest one, something like
That's correct. Yep.
27 million passwords compromised.
Yep.
Yep.
Drew, you got your hand up.
Yes. I just wanted to let everybody know that when you do set up your two-factor authentication, if you choose to use an authenticator app like a Google Authenticator, there's no rule that says that you can only use one authenticator. If you would like to set up a second authenticator and you have that 16-digit code that I had mentioned in the first half of the meeting, you can set up a different authenticator on a different device like Windows or your tablet. And you can, if your phone is unavailable or you just don't want to get it from the other room, you can have a second two-factor authentication generator item or program or app, whether it be on Windows or Android or iPad, and have a second way of getting into your two-factor authenticated protected websites.
I had some fun. I was recently on a cruise and no phone service. Getting anything done that required replying to a phone call that never came. That was fun. Impossible.
Right. So what I do is I have KeePass XC running on Windows, a small little file that you store locally on your computer, and you can put those two-factor secret keys in there and use Windows to generate your two-factor tokens while you're unavailable to your cell phone.
Something to keep in mind. Anyone else?
Richard, if you'll unmute.
Bob, when you get a VPN, would it work on a Mac and a PC that I have, or do I have to get two VPNs for each computer?
No, it depends on the VPN.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Bob, thank you very much. Stan,
Thanks.
you
Thanks for having me.
want to wrap it up?
It was great.
I'd also like to thank you very much. Very informative, a lot of good food for thought, and it can't be too safe out there for sure. They're trying to get you. Okay, well, thanks all for coming. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.